Good morning. We spent a lovely night here in Terlingua at the Vecino RV Park and Inn. Really great place. Firmly recommend it. It's all our water. And then we're planning on heading to Boquillas, Mexico. At least that's the plan.
We had this super nice little apartment, hotel, cabin, whatever in the world you want to call it, to stay in last night. We got hot showers, cooked dinner, we had spaghetti and meatballs, we had omelets for breakfast.
It's a sunny day, but we are saying goodbye to the Emery Suite, and very thankful we actually got to stay here because it was really nice.
We're about to start heading towards uncharted territory for us. That'll be the east side of the park, which we haven't been to yet. And we'll be going to Boquillas, Mexico. And it should be super interesting. We're gonna try and get lunch in Mexico. The eastern side of the park is a little flatter. And we're heading down towards the Rio Grande section, but we're just driving through a lot of Chihuahuan Desert right now. This is cool. And in the distance, I can see a long line of cottonwood trees that must be following the river. Steven, sorry you couldn't be here with us, but I'm glad there's a statue for you anyway. So Marianne, tell us about the river environment.
It's wetter than the rest of the desert.
Yep. And this is the third environment that Big Bend has. There's a lot of birds and other animals and plants here.
And this cute little owl. I want one. Look at this. 8 quarters. That's not heavy.
Yeah, there's a lot more water here, so there's a lot more plants and birds and other animals. It's a cool place.
It's very cool.
Well, the visitor center was closed, sort of randomly, but we're driving down here to look at the village store. Recreation services. People are getting college credit hours to be out here right now.
I was real salty when we were backpacking the other night. There's a girl who was out here just going for a hike, for work, getting paid. And I was like, yes.
She worked for either REI or Moose Jaw, one of the outfitters stores. But
that's the dream.
this is the road into the Boquillas crossing. This is the border crossing. I guess this is our parking here. Crossing to Boquillas, Mexico can increase your understanding of the international flavor and history of Big Bend National Park. Villagers of Boquillas welcome visitors and offer the opportunity to experience life in a small rural village. Your visit will be greatly enhanced by complying with a few basic guidelines such as all of these. Cool. Neat. I think it must be like their version of fall here because there's a lot of yellow going on up in the mountains too. There is a geocache on the other side and it looks like it's in a restaurant, so we're probably going to eat our lunch at that same restaurant and find the geocache while we're there. We then rented some local transportation to get us into town. We're in the town of Boquillas.
We made it.
We rode donkeys, we crossed the Rio Grande. Now we're gonna go find some lunch. Hello.
Hello.
Where are we at?
We are at Chisos Basin in Boquillas, Mexico.
Ordered a glass of sotol, a tequila-like drink made from the root of the stalk-like plants we had been seeing.
First off,
It smells kind of sweet. Doesn't really smell like tequila. Tastes like tequila, but it tastes different too. You enjoying it so far?
yes.
You can definitely tell there's a distinctly different culture, you know? It's very chill. Chips and salsa are really good. Way up there is our campsite. A whole country away.
So lucky. But so awesome.
There's our geocache.
That's our first geocache in
Mexico.
I hate this squeak. Yay!
This building must have had something to do with the mining originally. We found our first geocache. Got ourselves a souvenir. We're just kind of wandering the town now.
We went to Boquillas and we took a riverboat across the border, and then we rode a donkey into town. We ate, we tried sotol tequila type something. It was actually pretty good.
I liked it. I liked it a lot better than I do any tequila I've tried.
Yeah, it was definitely smooth, and it did have a sweeter like aroma, so it was pretty pleasant. And we walked up and down the streets, saw lots of the really cool artwork. Spoiler mom, we bought my mom a purse because she's an artist, and that's just what you do.
I thought it was a really cool experience. We got to sort of see the way that those folks live. But the riding the donkeys was real cool, and there's a lot of history here talking about how there were troops stationed here during the Mexican Revolution in the 1910s. And this one talks about how the desert is, I mean, it's an intense desert here.
We are on a Rio overlook. It has a little trail to its overlook.
It says limestone doesn't weather as quickly in these dry climates as it does like at home where it makes caves.
That is my very attractive husband. Right there. I definitely left Alex behind. But that's okay. Neat stuff.
The tunnel. For our next trick, there's a geocache located up here at Ernst Tinaja, down the famous Old Ore Road. I'm not sure who Ernst is, but he's got a basin and a Tinaja, so we'll find out. Maybe the geocache will tell us more. The Old Ore Road, famous in overland and off-road circles. To find Ernst Tinaja, which we have now learned Tinaja means watering hole. And so somewhere up here there's a canyon that apparently collects water, which is obviously extremely important in this particular part of the world. Chilo plants here, the spiny ones that are kind of tall, I think. Octilio. So this is the old ore road. Is the oldest road in the park, I think. Somebody at some point must have died in probably a very classic Wild West kind of way and was buried here. It should be the grave of Juan de Leon. Yep. From Boquillas del Carmen. Died on July 19th, 1932. Juan de Leon's grave was the first stage in a two-part geocache. His birth and death dates were part of a puzzle, an equation with the dates as variables that led us to the coordinates of a cache container in Terlingua, outside of the national park, which we would go and look for several days later. We're down here in the desert. It's starting to look properly like Tatooine out here. But Ernst Tinaja is supposed to be a watering hole up this way.
It's so there. There's a bun in here. It's so chill. It has such big, beautiful eyes.
These national park animals seem to know they're protected. Pretty awesome canyon coming up right here. It's channeling the breeze down too. Alright, this is really cool. You can see the way the water's eroded down here from past rains. And these kind of environments would be really important for the various desert animals, with all of its crevices. And these eroded pools are probably some of the only sources of water for like a day's walk in any direction. You see the water washes over the top and washes over and digs these pools out. So this is one of, or the Tinaja. It's probably actually pretty deep because of the way the erosion works and everything. The way the sandstone looks and everything, this is a really cool place. For a place that was just like barely even mentioned on the map, you know? closest there. I'm not as much of a geologist as I'd like to be, so I'm not sure what this little colorful rock formation here is. There's a little vein of it in the strata here. Here's a mesquite tree, showing how it's capable of living in very harsh environments.
We just made it back to our campsite, Chisos Basin.
Inflating some air pads. Got the tent set back up. Dinner's cooking. It's got little prints on it. We put it at the store in Rio Grande Village. Well, Marianne, how is it?
Warm.
How was dinner?
Good.
How was your day?
It was good. It was very relaxing, but we still got like a lot done.
Agreed. Well, the windstorm the other night didn't last very long, so maybe this one won't either. The wind did continue throughout the night, reminding us that we were in the mountains. We managed to sleep well regardless, as it was a very busy but very cool day of many adventures.